This week we're going to focus on primarily South America, specifically looking at the weather conditions in Brazil as well as Argentina. We will wrap things up this week looking at trends in November soybean futures. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. We've moved into mid-November here, and of course with the vast majority of the U.S. soybean harvest complete, attention is shifting to South America. That's where we're going to spend most of our time today. We're going to start out looking at trends in Brazil soybean production. There's several major states here in Brazil with soybean production. The leading state in the north is Mato Grosso, about 25% of the crop, and you can see there as we move north to south in Goiás, Minas Gerais, Paraná, Rio Grande do Sul, and Mato Grosso do Sul, around 80-85% of the beans in that particular states. Now we're going to switch and looking at planting progress in that number one soybean producing state of Mato Grosso. We're looking at about 96% of the soybeans planted in Mato Grosso. You can see that slowed down a bit. Part of that is linked to some dryness in the eastern part of the state at the moment, but it's still ahead of the average and really is off to a quick start. Why is that important? Because rapid soybean planting does promote an early harvest, potential for an early harvest, weather permitting, in January of 2023, which in turn would support resumption of exports. Let's now take a look at the weather conditions from Brazil. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. We're starting out here looking through Sunday of this week. We are looking at some rainfall across those northern areas, but a little bit drier further south. Now we're looking into next week, November 21st to the 27th, a little heavier rain across most of the areas. The exception is in the far south, and we'll highlight that in a moment. So look at the next 14 days, comprehensive as a percent of normal, close to normal for the vast majority of the beans there in Brazil. The exception is down in the south, Rio Grande do Sul, which has already experienced 2 consecutive years of poor crops. They're off to a dry start here in 2022. We'll follow that closely moving through the winter months for you. We're going to shift gears now and look at the soybean production areas of Argentina. Now, Argentina, we're looking at 4 main provinces: Buenos Aires, Córdoba, Santa Fe, and Santiago del Estero. Looking at, again, between 80 and 85% of the crop amongst those 4 provinces. Let's take a look at the short-term weather forecast for Argentina. Now here we're looking at a different forecast compared to Brazil. The next 14 days, in fact, there's a heat wave that's going to occur in Argentina. Here's a key point. They've just started soybean planting, so really it's not detrimental yet to yields, but it's something in terms of a trend to keep an eye on. Now we're looking at rainfall here, looking at some rainfall across the areas here, the heaviest across Buenos Aires. As we wrap things up with the weather here, looking at the next 2 weeks total, a lot of red in that map. So there's some dryness concerns here as we move into mid-November. Again, it's premature to talk about yield loss yet with the crop just going into the ground, but the trend is important moving forward. Will this persist in the La Nina pattern moving into December and January when weather will become critical for Argentina? Let's wrap things up this week looking briefly at trends in November soybean futures. Now, November 22 soybean futures expired on Monday, about $14.42 a bushel or $4.10 above the 5-year average. What we want to highlight this week is looking at November 2023 soybean futures near $14 a bushel. And it's still 3.5 months before that base crop insurance price is set for next year. So we strongly encourage you to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to defend your balance sheet. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 800-664-2321. We'll put you in contact with one of our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an upload. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.